This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of May 27th, 2024. Life is starting to feel like we're in a wind tunnel. The noise level just from the air moving around is interfering with our thoughts somewhat, with our ability to hear. People are talking, people are yelling, things are flying through the air, ideas are running in and out of our minds and mouths. Expansive Jupiter has just entered Gemini for the first time in 12 years. He'll be there into June of 2025. And now that he's a couple of days into the sign, we actually get an assist. We can find at least the walls of the wind tunnel. We can tie our thinking down somewhat. We can steady ourselves via a sextile between Mercury and Saturn on the 27th. Watch for something dangling in front of you that stabilizes some of the hubbub. Watch for something dangling in front of you that puts some structure and context and semblance of control over the information flow. And hang on tight to that, because later in the week, by the 31st, Mercury is going to meet up with Uranus, and we are in a lightning field. Light bulbs are exploding in our brains. We're seeing things differently. Information comes flying in that upends how we had previously thought about stuff. Stalemates have massive breakthroughs. And if you take advantage of the sextile at the beginning of the week, you'll already have a grounding cord in place, some form of stability, of structure, a context that you can put things in and not have utter chaos erupt. These two events are occupying our minds and guiding our thoughts and conversations, while a really important trigger gets hit. Mars, planet of action, the ruler of our drive, how we push ourselves forward, moves across and activates the April 8 Aries solar eclipse point. This causes another booster rocket to fire. This sends us even further on the journey that solar eclipse ignited within each of us. Some events may be external, some may be internal. View any really dramatic developments that occur this week through the lens of furthering the Aries solar eclipse journey. And if you've been contemplating implementing the potentials of that eclipse yourself, this week is superbly timed for it. It could be that random things you hear or think spur you on to the action. There could be that some seemingly minor piece of information flits across your screen and something in you says, "That's it, here we go, bam," and you move. The wind tunnel only gets more active and more intense as we get toward the weekend. Truly monumental information could come to light. You may narrow your focus. Uncharacteristically for Gemini, narrow your focus and then expand that smaller spectrum as far as you possibly can. Jupiter is making a trine to Pluto. This will characterize Jupiter's entire time in the sign of Gemini. It's the first major aspect Jupiter is making since shifting mode. And it's also going to have an impact on Pluto's time in Aquarius. This increases the ability to make light of and to laugh about extremely serious developments, to look at things that could be very scary. It's got an element of redefining power, actually. People could be laughing at something that previously was a big, powerful, maybe even monstrous presence. Collective action could develop a voice that gets louder and louder and louder. So many possibilities with this. Look at where the beginning of Gemini and the beginning of Aquarius fall in your chart and see what the linking between those two is bringing more and more of into your life. Gemini takes some of the edge off the potential heaviness, and at the same time, there's another encouragement to lighten up, not take things so seriously, perhaps escape, look for the higher meaning, back off and say this is just for the moment. Although, to be honest, it's not just for the moment. To look for the higher purpose, to recognize it's all part of a process. And there's the potential for grace and beauty and creativity and people just being basically nicer to each other with Mercury in a sextile to Neptune. And after this, we're actually in a much easier stretch. So tie on a mental bungee cord, grab whatever guide bar is offered to you at the beginning of the week as you walk through, fly through, are sucked into this wind tunnel, and do your best to laugh at whatever is kicked up as we get toward the end of the week. Make light of it, make jokes about it. If you're daring enough, say, do your worst. And then go watch the sunset, or a movie, or play with your pet, or have a drink or three. Take heart. The hardest part of the year is, in fact, over. Homing thought of the week. Thoughts are things. Song of the week, New Attitude by Patti LaBelle. And if you like, All for the Best from Godspell. And the image of the week is an ejector button. You'll learn more about all this in my forecast for the month of June, which is already up at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and get a Jupiter in Gemini quick reference guide as a thank you for subscribing, and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years experience. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who support my work there. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio on the first and third Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. I also host lively conversation on Facebook, on the page Empowerment Unlimited, and in the group the Astro-Insight Lounge. I post on Instagram and Threads at K.A. Biehl, and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian Channel. Talk to you next week.